If you're interested in joining the United States Army, you might be curious, what do I wear? On what occasions do I wear this uniform compared to that uniform? So that's what we're going to kind of cover in today's video. I'm going to tell you about what you will wear if you are serving in the United States Army, and that video starts right now. There are multiple variations of the uniforms. There's also some that I probably won't even cover, such as like the cook whites, the coveralls, and a few other variations, but let's talk about some of the very common ones that you will wear if you're serving the United States Army, in today's Army at least. If this is your first time here, you're brand new to the channel, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, as I like to inform you about the United States Army, whether you are someone who is thinking about joining the Army, or even someone that's currently in the Army, because I also do provide some great tips for those of you that are currently serving in the Army. If you're a veteran, then hell, maybe you just want to take a trip down memory lane. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Let's get into the first uniform, which is your physical fitness uniform. The PT's physical fitness uniform, that is something you will wear in the mornings when you're doing physical fitness. There's also other times where you might wear the physical fitness uniform, but the common purpose, the main intention of that uniform is to wear it during PT in the morning. So in the morning, commonly between 6:30, 7:30, sometimes those times vary a little bit based on the unit, but that is when you'll wear the physical fitness uniform. So what is that physical fitness uniform? There is a summer version as well as a winter version. So let's start off with that summer version. Summer version includes your running shoes. You typically have some kind of running shoes. You're not authorized to utilize like basketball shoes or anything else. You have specifically running shoes that you're supposed to wear with that uniform, as well as socks. Those socks can be either calf length or ankle length. As far as the color of the socks, they can only be white or black and no logos on those socks. For my old school veterans that may be watching this, you remember a time when it had to be only white socks? Well, current day Army authorizes black or white ankle or calf length. Then you have the shorts that are these black shorts. I don't remember if there's a stipulation that requires you to wear underwear with them. Some people choose not to. Probably a good idea to wear underwear with them, especially during certain environments, but you have the shorts and then you have the PT shirt that has Army across the front of it, and that shirt gets tucked into the shorts. And that is really it for the summer PTs. There is no headgear or anything else that goes along with it. So let's get into the winter PTs. Now, you need to note that the winter PTs need to be layered. So typically, you're supposed to wear the summer PTs, and then over top of the summer PTs, wear the winter PTs. That way, in the environment that you need to downgrade something, you've got something on underneath to be able to downgrade to. So with that summer PTs, you're adding on some layers for the winter PTs. That is typically adding the pants and the jacket, and sometimes you will also wear maybe like a beanie cap as well. Also, you may be adding some gloves to the equation too. So there are different environments that will require, one uniform compared to the other, during different types of seasons, different time frames, and that'll usually be put out by the leadership as far as what the uniform is for physical fitness that next day. If some of you are thinking about the PT belt, commonly they have done away with the PT belt in physical fitness, as the logos on the PT uniform is reflective, so they feel it's not necessary to also wear a PT belt with the PT uniform since it already has some reflective environments to it. But there may be some units that do still require a PT belt, but most common units that I've seen no longer require a PT belt when doing physical fitness in the mornings. There are also variations of the PT uniform that you might have, where sometimes you might have to wear the jacket with the shorts and then maybe downgrade later and take the jacket off, and other kind of variants that just kind of depend on the weather. Sometimes when it's just starting to get kind of a little bit cold, then you may not add the pants just yet, but you'll add the jacket and then do PT that way, or whatever the case is. But that is dependent on the leadership at that unit as to what they want to do. But the thing you have to understand is that all soldiers have to be in the same uniform. So if the uniform is to wear the jackets with the shorts, everybody's supposed to show up in that same uniform. Next, let's move to the Army combat uniform. It may be referred to as the ACUs still sometimes. Also, you may hear people refer to them as OCPs. OCP is the pattern, basically. It's the operational camouflage pattern, but you may hear kind of different variants where people will call it. It's the combat uniform though, the camouflage uniform. That's what we're referencing. That uniform will be worn, let's say in a normal working environment, whether you're working in an office, you work in the motor pool, whatever the case is, that is the common uniform that you will wear when you're doing your job in the Army. With that uniform, you have your boots that you wear. You have approved special ones that you'll wear that are tan colored. They have multiple multiple different brands and variations and everything that you're authorized to be able to wear. With those boots, you wear socks. Those can either be white, green, or black socks. Now, there might be times where you might see soldiers wearing like tennis shoes, running shoes, you know, in that uniform. That's usually what is called a soft shoe profile type of thing. Usually that's only a specific scenario where you have a soldier that has some sort of injury that doesn't allow them to wear boots. Maybe it's like a broken ankle or some other kind of foot injury, and so the doctors have recommended them to wear, you know, tennis shoes or running shoes for X amount of time while they're kind of recovering from this injury before they go back to wearing boots. You then have the OCP pants that is worn with a belt. That belt can be either tan or sand colored. The pant legs on the pants actually have to be bloused or tucked into the boot. You can't just have them freely hanging there unless you're wearing a specific version of the uniform, like they have a special aviation version, and that one you don't actually blouse or tuck into the boot. But if you're wearing the normal one, that one has to get bloused or tucked into the boot. You then have a coyote brown undershirt that is worn underneath the top of that. Now, typically that is blank. It's just a plain colored t-shirt, but there are a lot of variations where like units have like a morale version that has like the unit crest on it or something else along those lines. And those are usually authorized at most units and everything, but you have to make sure that whatever variant you're wearing is authorized to be worn by that unit. But over the top of that coyote, you know, brown shirt is going to be that top that has your name tape, the US Army, it's got your unit patch, the flag, your rank, and all that kind of fun stuff. And then there's headgear with this uniform. You have the patrol cap or the PC, and that one has the rank, has the name on the back and everything. There may be other variants where some soldiers wear different headgear, but your common one is that typical patrol cap, which is just a simple camouflage OCP colored cap. Now, with that uniform in the field or on a deployment, it does kind of add a little bit of other layers to it as well. Typically, if you're in the field or even sometimes on a combat deployment, you're just wearing the regular uniform. If you're like on the FOB, you're on that combat outpost or something like that, dependent on the environment, you're just wearing the regular uniform. It's usually not until you actually go out on mission, you leave those fenced in areas, that you have to then usually upgrade to like what we call full kit. That usually includes like the vest plus the helmet. You may have other kind of things you have to add to it as well, like eye pro, gloves, maybe even other environments where you have to add elbow pads and knee pads and everything. But that is typically a specific kind of designated uniform that is put out by that leadership as far as what the requirement is for like leaving the wire to go out on mission for what you have to wear. That may also be the uniform like when you go to the ranges and certain other kind of environments too. Now, if it's a training deployment, then you typically don't have full kit unless you're doing like specific things like ranges or field problems or whatever. Otherwise, you're wearing that normal uniform unless you're doing training. Now, when you're off duty, you're not doing your normal Army job, then you're free to wear civilian clothes. You can wear pretty much whatever you want for the most part. And if that happens to be a grunt style shirt, well, you can do so. But if you've been eyeballing this one, well, this one's a little bit harder to get. This shirt is an exclusive Club Grunt Style t-shirt and is only available to Grunt Style Club members. So if you don't want to miss out on any of the future ones, I got a link down in the description box down below and even a promo code to utilize to save you 10% off of a 6-month membership. So if you utilize the promo code Chaos Club, that'll get you 10% off that membership. And that membership comes with getting you a cool, awesome, exclusive t-shirt every single month. There's also other perks that come along with it, such as you always get 10% off of regular t-shirts and items that are available on the Grunt Style website, as well as in-store. You can get early access to Grunt Style merchandise as well. Also, you have free expedited shipping, and there's several other perks that come along with being a member of the club. So make sure you join to catch all those perks, get a cool shirt that not everybody can get, and you can always tell which ones are special to club members because it even says club members right here on the sleeve, so you'll know that that's an exclusive shirt. So check out the link down in the description box down below. Utilize that promo code Chaos Club to get 10% off. Your membership also helps support the channel too, so check it out. Now, another thing you might wear in the United States Army is the dress uniform that looks all nice and fancy. That is called the Army Service Uniform, or the ASU. This uniform would be specifically worn for special occasions, maybe going to the promotion board, maybe you have, some kind of special, more formal activity to do kind of a thing, with, other distinguished honors individuals. There's several different kind of environments you may wear this, but let's talk about what is a part of that uniform. So you have some black dress shoes that would be worn with some black dress socks. You have some light blue pants with a dress belt. Now, if you are a lower enlisted soldier, such as like a E1, like a private to a specialist, then it's just light blue pants. But if you're a non-commissioned officer, then it adds that gold stripe down the side. There is a white button-up shirt and then a jacket that goes over top of that. On that white button-up shirt, though, is a black tie. So does look very formal and fashionable. And of course, on that jacket, it's got your medals, it's got your name tape, it's got, you know, your rank, all sorts of other things. The headgear for the Army service uniform is the black beret, so you utilize that. But there are other variants of this uniform as well. Sometimes there's variants that don't include the jacket. Sometimes there's variants that, you know, don't include headgear, and instead you got a bow tie, especially for like balls and formal events. But there's also other variants of a lot of these uniforms too. I mean, even like the combat uniform, right? There might be times where you have to downgrade your top. There's times where you might roll the sleeves up. There's times where you might do this or do that. And I'm not covering every single variant, just trying to give you an idea as to what your daily uniform may be while in the Army. Now, there is also the Army Green Service Uniform, or the AGSUs, otherwise known as the pinks and greens. Those are a different variant of the uniform. Those ones aren't quite as widely used just yet. Sometimes, you know, it's being used by recruiters, special events, other kind of special kind of situations. So most soldiers are starting to get issued them when they join the Army now, but sometimes there's low on stock and then they have to get them later or whatever kind of thing. But for the most part, this is a uniform that is not yet required by the Army. This will not be required for all soldiers to have a set of this uniform until October 1st of 2027. So as of making this video, you still got plenty of time, or you may even get out of the Army before they even become required. Now, with these Army uniforms, if you could change one thing about any of these uniforms, whether it's the PTs, the combat uniform, the JES uniform, whatever, what would you change about that Army uniform? I want to hear about it down in the description box. No, not the description box. The comment section down below. Leave me a comment down below of what you would change. If you could change just one thing about any of these uniforms, what would you change? For me, I would move the rank back to the colors. I think it looks better on the colors rather than on the center of the chest, you know, for the Army combat uniform. So I think it'd be better if they went back to, you know, doing a color that would, you know, look good with it and put the rank back on the collar. I like that style. Along with the Army combat uniform, you have tabs that you may see like on the shoulder of the soldier, you know, that represent different things. And if you want to learn about that, well, I got a video right here that talks all about how to get those tabs and what those tabs are. If you want to check out this video right here, you can check that out as well. Links down in the description box down below. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Christopher Chaos. I'll see you next time. See ya.